Hello and welcome to the Firstpost Conversation. I'm Nagma. Today we're going to talk all about smoke without fire. Yes, quite literally, because we're going to talk all about the electronic cigarettes or the e-cigarettes, which have been commonly available in the markets abroad, but which is a new entrant in the Indian market. Just as it is about to enter the Indian market, it is facing a roadblock from the government, citing health hazards and not enough research yet. The government proposes to ban it by bringing about an ordinance, while about 14 states have already prohibited it. So this raises many questions. Why this ban? Has enough research been done already that we are ready to ban it? And if we are banning this, then why not other products like your gutkhas and cigarettes and bidis? And other than that, the various health aspects related to it, the laws related to it. We are doing this entire discussion in 3 segments. In the first segment, we have already discussed the right to choice. Can anyone take it away? The second segment was all about the science behind vapes, and in this third segment we're going to talk about ENDS, that is electronic nicotine delivery system, regulate or ban. And let me introduce you to the panel that I have here to discuss this topic. I have with me Bhaskar Bhattacharya, who's a partner, corporate law group. I have with me Dr. Ricardo Polosa, tobacco harm reduction advocate and professor of internal medicine, Department of Clinical and Experimental Medicine, University of Catania, which is in Sicily. And I have with me Praveen Rikhi, who is a convener of Trends. But before we begin this discussion, I would like to clarify that Firstpost does not support any form of smoking, be it e-cigarette or cigarettes or bidis or tobacco chewing or gutkhas. So now let me begin with regulation or ban. The very question that if we propose to ban something, there is a tendency of people to actually start using it more. But at this point in time, do you think the government should have looked at other aspects of how to regulate this, Praveen Rikhi, rather than come up with a proposal of actually banning it with an ordinance?
Absolutely, Nagma. In fact, that's something that the industry has been fighting for a number of months now. And we have been, persistently going to the government saying, hear us out, talk to us, because this does not make sense. Just to prohibit this reaching, for some fears that youth will take it up, you cannot take away a healthier or a safe option from
But that itself
consumers.
is questionable whether it is healthier or not, or is it not equally harmful?
Right. Okay. So even given that, but I as an individual, as an adult, I should have that choice, right? Nobody else has a right to make that choice. And what we are saying is that if you are doing it under the garb of preventing the vulnerable sections of the society to do it, why not regulate?
Yes.
And that's exactly, and the industry has been making, concrete suggestions on that.
So I would begin with putting that question to both of you also. What are the positive sides or the negative sides of this ban? Should there be a ban or a regulation?
There are always negative sides on bans in general. In relation to this particular story of electronic cigarettes, and new technologies in general, I really think ban is nonsensical. It is nonsensical for a number of reasons. Reason number one is we are talking of a technology and products that are massively less toxic and problematically from a toxicological point of view than the product they are going to substitute. Let me reiterate one single point. We are not here to say that the people should be starting on electronic cigarette if they don't smoke. We are suggesting that smokers that cannot quit or do not want to quit have a healthier option, a healthier choice. So if the government goes on and ban a healthier choice, that may be a solution for millions of people, I believe. I don't think this is going to be a good public health decision at all, particularly because it's been based on bad quality research, and also there's non-existent Indian-made research. I really think before the government takes a decision on such a delicate topic, a very important topic, they should have more research based.
You're talking about the ICMR report, the Indian Council of Medical Research, that has given a report on the basis of a very short study, probably, which is not enough to be called a research. But I would like to question you on that healthier choice, whether it is a healthier choice, considering many countries like the American society itself, the American government is not yet ready to give it the approval of being healthy. Research is going on right now, right? But many other countries have, they're still not banning it. But to you now, whether you would like and what kind of regulations would you like rather than the ban?
Okay, Nagma, there are 2 points here. I mean, before I come to what kind of regulation, I think the potent question and the moot question is that whether there should be a regulation or a ban. And so there are 2 points here. One is that whether the government can ban some substance which it feels is harmful for the society at large. Yes, the government can. Now, whether the government can determine what is harmful and what is not harmful, yes, the government can also done that. But the question is, had the government done this before taking a decision? If you look at the way government has been going about trying to prohibit these products, it is too much of a kind of a seesaw effect. If you look at that, I mean, they first tried to ban it under the drug laws. Then they realized that they cannot do it because they are not drugs. Then they started claiming, or they tried to prove that these products are actually drug. They might have realized that that is also not the case. So now what we are hearing, what you just said, is they are an ordinance. An ordinance. Where is the urgency? The ordinances, they are issued when there is so much of an urgency that they cannot wait for the next sitting of the parliament. Now, where does this urgency come from?
So what do you think? Where does this urgency come from? Why this ordinance? Because probably this will be the first case where a product that's coming into the market is being banned, or at least being talked about to ban it through an ordinance. So what's the urgency and what's the, if I may call it, motivation?
This is exactly what we have been saying, and we've been saying, let us have a consultative process. You know, you're a democracy. Okay, everybody has a right to be heard. You know, you should talk to all the stakeholders, talk to the doctors, talk to the industry, talk to, you know, we have so much information available. The government is not even willing to consider. So if you ask me where is this pressure coming from, we don't know. Okay, everybody tells me would be the tobacco lobby, but I don't see a logic in that, because this, if e-cigarettes get banned, then tobacco cannot be far behind, right? So, you know, it will be detrimental to them. So I really don't know where this is coming from.
So you think if e-cigarette is banned, then tobacco should be banned too? Or will the government consider banning them? It should be banned, right? I mean, if the bidis should be banned, cigarettes should be banned, the gutkhas should be banned.
Yeah, if you're going down that route.
Because in India, if you talk about the Indian perspective, very few people would be probably using e-cigarettes, and a bigger killer is the tiny pouches, the innocuous looking pouches that come with very, very harmful gutkhas, right?
Yes.
So it leads to cancer and many other illnesses. So that should be banned as well. Having said that, what's the global experience in terms of regulation? How and what to regulate, Dr. Ricardo Polosa?
Well, we think regulation is the main point. Going back, Nagma, to the point why there is all this push towards the ban, I mean, we can speculate. I can tell you a little story, if you like, about what happened in Italy a few years back. There was an explosion of success of electronic cigarettes and vaping products in 2012 and 2013. What did the government do? A law decree, basically an ordinance. Law decree are implemented during earthquakes, big epidemics. So it was kind of strange that all out of the blue, our government decided to implement a law decree because of the explosion and the wide popularity of electronic cigarettes. The case was that our government survives on excise tax, and the 10% decline in tobacco product sales was having a big impact on how the budget is managed by our government. I really think the most important addiction of all is that of the government for the excise taxation money, unfortunately. And this creates a lot of problem when it comes to regulate, to ban, and everything else. Okay, let's go back to regulation in 2 minutes. There are a lot of interesting frameworks that the Indian government can follow. Canada, for example, was banning at the beginning the products, and now they're regulating. They change completely their mind. In Europe, we are regulating and using very simple framework that utilizes very simple rules. For example, 20 milligram per ml limit in the nicotine level.
So basically the amount of liquid that's being
the
used.
concentration, the maximum concentration of nicotine that is allowed in the vaping products marketed in Europe. And a number of intelligent or less intelligent choices, but it's one of those directives that can be improved, and at least is allowing the free marketing of the product. In some countries in Europe, this is having a phenomenal impact on smoking prevalence. Look, for example, what's happening in England, in Norway, in Iceland, in France. The smoking prevalence is going down, possibly because there is I'm not saying a promotion, but it's a free circulation of these products. I really think the Indian government should have a look into these models and try to find the one that fits better for the country. And for the Indian people.
Okay, so there are many models worldwide that the Indian government can look at to regulate rather than ban. Like he said, you can also regulate the amount of liquid that's being used inside the vaping machines. And if you do not regulate right now, if you actually ban it, do you think the product would be available anyhow? And then there'll be no regulations, it could be more harmful.
Nagma, prohibition harms in two ways. A complete prohibition of addictive products like, say, electronic cigarette.
Yeah.
The first thing is that this prohibition is going to be a paper tiger. It is never, going to actually have some effect on the ground. We have got examples. Start from child labor prohibition, then there are alcohol prohibition, liquor prohibitions in states. Check on the ground what is happening. It doesn't work. The second and the bigger harm of a prohibition is that the prohibition makes the policymakers and the enforcers complacent. Because what is going to happen is that in illicit form, these products are going to be available in any way to people who want to use it.
Yeah.
But the government will have a legitimate paperwork to say that we have already done what has to be done. So the problem will still subsist and we will be in denial of that problem. I think that is a bigger worry than having a product in the market which is well regulated. For example, if you want, your concern is youth initiation, your concern is vulnerable society, sections of the society using it. That can only be managed if you regulate it, if you monitor it. If you simply say it is banned or prohibited, you will be in a state of denial. Nobody is going to be benefited by that. And if somebody is going to be benefited, then it's a guesswork. We do not know actually who is going to be benefited by this kind of a prohibition.
So the bootlegger is not going to ask for age proof, right?
Yeah.
He is not going to give you a certificate of, what are the ingredients that have been, in the product that has been sold to you. So you will have the similar cases that we have of, people dying because of illicit liquor.
There has been a recent report on someone actually dying from the use of these the vaping machine.
That was later found out.
Yes, it was found out that there was different wrong substance in that.
But many countries are actually still studying, and a lot of research is going in the medical, the ill effects on health, because the problem arises when it is being marketed as something which is healthy. It's a healthier option. Is it a healthier option?
It is a healthier option to smoking. It is not a healthier option to non-smokers. So I think that's where the difference lies. The second thing is that till such research is going on.
But it's also being sold, sorry interrupting you there, but it's also being sold for lay people who do not know much about it. If you ask them about e-cigarettes, all they know is it's something that helps you quit. It's something that's like a quitting device, it's a cessation device. So basically that's what, I was also speaking to one of the users who told me in a previous session that he actually got into it thinking that it'll help him quit, but that leads to another form of of addiction. So these are also one of the concerns that the ministry has expressed, that it's actually giving rise to another addiction. It's available in various flavors, which are kid-friendly flavors. You will also get a lot of kids, teenagers to use it because of the cool quotient that it has, that it's very cool to smoke this e-cigarette. Do you think all those fears are real?
See, the fears are real for, if a child is going to go and smoke, it will be easier for him to buy a 10 rupees, cigarette and smoke that on the sly than to buy a 2,000
Will
rupee
smoke
vape.
anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, so these are, the other thing, where we are talking about flavors, why don't you ban that? If you think that this is what is attracting the youth, regulate it. Regulate the fact that if you are saying that, this device, wrong substances can be added to it, regulate that. Say that only, pre-approved liquids will be available.
Yeah.
That is all we are saying. We're saying let us work together for positive regulation.
Yeah. Also, let's look at the medical.
If I can say something about flavors,
Sure.
this is not entirely true that flavors were made for kids. Flavors have been crafted for adults. Adults love flavors. This is a part of the success story of these new technologies, that you have a wide availability of flavors. Come on, Nagma, you like ice creams?
Yes, I do.
Would you like to have a wider selection instead of having just one
Absolutely.
vanilla ice cream? Are you an adult or a kid?
I'm an adult. And
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that's
different-
exactly the same story. So we should take this as an example. So let's not point the accusing finger to the flavors. This is not the point. What's happening in these outbreaks in America is something completely different. These are illegal products containing cannabinoids oils. So if you inhale oils, it will cause a disease that is called lipoid pneumonia. Vaping does not cause, commercial vaping, the one I know, the one we know, it's something that will never cause any respiratory
It's
distress.
about regulating the quality of the product. That's
Definitely, and that's what the European regulation does. Quality and safety. As you know, I'm the chair of one of these European Commission on Quality and Safety for electronic cigarettes and e-liquids. And we're doing a lot of work in trying to rectify all these minimal problems. Don't forget, when we started analyzing products 10 years back, there were a lot of problems in the earlier generation products. Contaminants, toxicants.
Yeah.
Only after 3 or 4 years, most of these toxicants were completely gone. This is a product that innovates itself. So with knowledge, we will find solutions.
Of
In
course.
5 years, even the residual 5 to 3% of toxicants that they are there, they will be gone. I can assure you that.
So you're a tobacco harm reduction advocate. So I would like you to talk about, do you really think this product reduces the harm that tobacco causes? Because advertisers are promoting e-cigarettes as a more healthy, less harmful alternative to conventional tobacco-based cigarette. However, the long-term health implications are still under research. We are not very sure about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are different ways we can explain the long-term health implication. Let's start with the most simplistic aspect. What does it cause disease when you smoke? Nicotine? Certainly not. Nicotine doesn't cause cancer. Nicotine doesn't cause cardiovascular disease. Nicotine doesn't cause respiratory disease. So it is tar that is causing those terrible diseases.
Nicotine by itself also is not a very healthy product. It can cause other problems, right?
Can I just finish my...
Yes.
So tar is causing the disease. Where does tar comes from? Mainly combustion. It's combustion causing. So if I use a product that doesn't operate through combustion, all the tar segment of the toxicants will be gone. This is not to say that electronic cigarettes are risk-free. There's nothing zero risk in life, not even the water you're offering me in a minute, because I'm quite dry now, is totally risk-free. But we know that compared to tobacco smoke, it's at least 95% less risk. And it's not me saying that. It's a lot of institutions, very respectful institutions, even the Americans, they
yeah,
recognize the less harmful effect. So in terms of reducing the burden of smoking-related disease, comes very easily. Although it's not possible to demonstrate it right now because it takes 20, 30, 40 years to demonstrate that this product will have an impact on public health.
Sorry, Dr. Ricardo, we will talk more about the health impacts in another segment. Right now, because we have just this much time in this segment, I would like your comments, Praveen Ricky, as a convener of Trends. What are your expectations from the government? What would you like the government how would you like the government to go forward with it?
The government needs to sit with all the stakeholders, okay? Talk about a policy that will benefit the society. India has the largest burden of, tobacco in the world. We need to do something about it. And there is a worldwide record of going forward, with the ENDS products. So that is a thing that they need to do. They need to talk to the industry, they need to talk to the consumers, they need to talk to the doctors, they need to talk to the scientists and figure out what is the best method that is required for India.
So ban is not the answer, there should be regulation, and there are many models to follow for the regulation.
Definitely. I mean, one has to take a positive action. The positive action is to regulate. Banning something is running away from a problem that may arise, and that is not a solution in any case.
On that note, we will thank all of you for this session, and we have another session coming up. The banning is not the answer as a solution to a problem. In fact, it leads to more problems. So it's time to talk and look at other options that are available. Thank you so much.